Our politically incorrect segment tonight, a man identifying as a Mexican wolf howls at the moon, and an 8-year-old boy being dressed in drag. When is enough enough? First it was gender pronouns, then transgender bathrooms, and now progressives are saying that biology and gender have nothing to do with each other. How much longer can we accommodate absurd positions in the name of tolerance before our culture implodes? Joining me now, contributor to the Federalist, Kaylee Triller-Haver. Kaylee, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on today.
All right, Kaylee, your article in the Federalist was great. You started out talking about the man who identifies as a Mexican wolf. Is that a real story?
That is unfortunately a very real story. It's in one of the many Facebook groups I've infiltrated. There are thousands of these people who sincerely need the kind of love that says this is nonsense.
That is, it devolves into cultural absurdity. Look, I'm all about, do whatever you want as long as it doesn't violate the rights of someone else. If he wants to identify as a Mexican wolf, more power to him. He can do whatever he wants, as silly as that is. But I guess my question, and this is where it delves into politics, do we as a society have to accommodate him and him being a wolf and him wanting all the necessities and care that would come with being a wolf? Do we owe him that as society if we're supposed to accept identity, as truth?
Well, that's kind of the question I was hoping that the article would encourage people to ask themselves, because I've been fighting this gender identity legislation here in Washington State for the last 2 years. And finding that the further down this rabbit hole I get, the more people I encounter painting the roses red and saying, as long as I can keep my head on, I'm okay. But this is where this goes. This is the logical conclusion of absurdity that is unchecked. And so if you read the article, there are so many crazy things that are now masquerading as reality. And until and unless people start to say, maybe not, we're going to start to see our personal freedoms eroded. I personally lost my own job of 17 years over this issue, so it is close to home to me.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. You certainly have a platform here to talk about this. You infiltrated these Facebook groups. I find what you did to be fascinating, so tell us about that. You said you were part of a Facebook group for adult babies. I don't even know what that means, Kaylee.
I feel like I have to cleanse myself in holy water before I go in, and after I didn't either. And so what I found as I was fighting all this gender identity legislation was that people didn't seem to have this line that said, this is enough. And so I wondered, where does this go? And so I started to kind of research on the back end. I got into a gender identity Facebook group and just followed the links that said, click here, you're interested in this. I'm in 50 groups now with adult babies who genuinely believe that they have the souls of 6-year-old children or infant babies. In fact, they wear soiled diapers and need mom. I know it's not something that it's very uncomfortable for me.
No, that's disgusting. It's disgusting, but I guess this would be my question. If liberals say that we have to accept everyone's identity, how they feel as truth, we as a society take care of children. We give children love. We give children care and schooling. Do we owe these people who identify as children, who claim that they have the souls of children, do we owe them the same love and care and financial support that we owe actual children?
I think you're going to start to see that the answer becomes increasingly yes. Because that is the subjective nature of gender identity. There are no rules or limits to it. It's like a speed limit with no numbers. So whatever you say goes, and who's going to be the arbiter? Who gets to say this is enough and this is where this ends? And we've got people cutting off their limbs, freezing them off in dry ice, with psychoanalysts and psychotherapists saying, hey, yeah, that's a good thing to do. It's going to make them happy. And so who gets to decide? That's the question, I guess.
Right, and I think it's time that we start asking liberal politicians, bringing these questions right to their faces, saying, this person identifies as a wolf, he needs love and care, he needs to be tended to, he needs someone to get him food. Should we be rejecting his identity? And if they say yes, then ask them, who are they to say that we should reject their identity? Who are they to pick and choose who deserves to be, who deserves this treatment versus who does not deserve this treatment? Because I think you'll find, once you delve into, the nitty-gritty, the disgusting Facebook group aspect of this, you'll find that their answers are not logically consistent whatsoever.
Well, in the absence of a logical argument, you're going to get a lot of shaming tactics and anger and manufactured rage and how dare you, you bigot, because they have nothing else to hang this on. And I think we need a lot more people to see behind that curtain and say, hold the phone. This is where this goes. We need objective reality. We need concrete,
Right, we need
limits.
Truth.
We need truth. There it is.
Right, we need to accept the truth here. One last thing before we go, Kaylee, and this one's extra troubling because it's not just an adult who might be psycho or an adult who wants to choose to identify as a wolf or as a baby. This is an 8-year-old boy you were talking about, an 8-year-old boy at the Pride Parade in Canada, dressed in full drag. I mean, this is very troubling.
Lactatia is the preferred name. Just think about that for a second. It's hypersexualized 8-year-old child with full drag, and it's not just, a little costume. This is full-on sexualized 8-year-old. It's not okay.
No,
it's like, yeah.
It's not just taking someone to a pride parade. That's, obviously within normalcy here, but that is not appropriate for a child. And critics are going to say we're transphobic. They're going to say actually that we're homophobic, even though this has nothing to do with orientation. This has everything to do with gender identity and I guess identity with other things, some of them not even human things, but it's not. It's about cultural absurdity, and it's about every innocent, everyday Americans having their rights infringed because we are forced to accept these identities as truth when in fact they're not. Kaylee, great article. Come back anytime. Thanks for being here.